Lakers last season. Instead, the Lakers got Russell Westbrook, and Schroder has roughly 74 million reasons to be disappointed. So, I never count a man's pockets. You know, in the locker room, that's rule number one. Don't count another man's money. But today, we're counting.
I was about to say, I always violated that rule. I got to know what's out there.
You feel sorry for Schroder?
I absolutely do. Yeah, for real. Like, for real, as the kids would say, because I just noticed in pro sports, there's enough to go around for everybody. I know there's a salary cap, but trust me, if you are balling, you are in the mindset that they gonna take care of me. All right, so there's enough to go around for everybody, you're thinking, if you're Dennis Schroder. And when someone doesn't get theirs, you feel bad, dog, because you're just like, I'm still eating. You eating, but you not eating like you should be eating, right? That's where my mind takes me. It affected me. If I'm Dennis Schroder, like, what? I could have had 80-20 per year, and now I'm at 5 point? Wait a minute. I could have had all that, and now I only get this. And the only solace I have is, well, if I play well, and maybe it's not a point guard free agency spending spree next year in competition, I might try to make some of this up. But that money gone, bruh. That's the problem. When you don't strike, when you don't use the hammer when you have it to hit it, you're mad at yourself forevermore, and that's the problem with this. So, yeah, I feel bad. I know it's going to be jokes, but to me, that's sad.
I feel you, big dog. I feel terrible, honestly, for Schroder, because at best, he lost $16 million, at best. Even if he goes up and makes up his money next year, it's still a $16 million difference between the $20 million he could have made this year and the $6 million he's going to make this year. At worst, he lost $74 million. And the thing about that NBA money, it's guaranteed.
Guaranteed.
If this was an NFL contract, I'd be like, bro, you probably weren't going to see half of that 80 anyway. NBA, you just have to sign, and you's going to see all of it. Then it's the little things. Lakers are just a better organization right now than the Celtics, especially with who they're acquiring. You got LeBron James, you got AD. They would have acquired Melo. Obviously, they probably wouldn't have acquired Westbrook. But the Lakers just going to get you closer to winning. We've all been in these situations. And unfortunately in life, Sal, all you ever hear about is a person who bets on themselves and wins.
Yeah.
It's a whole bunch of people that bet on themselves and lose. And this is example number one of the person who bet on himself and lost. And it goes back to several conversations. I actually agree with you on this take, but we've talked before about Deshaun Watson, and you were like, man, why'd he sign that deal? That was a bad deal. I'm like, but Sal, give me the 158 or whatever Deshaun signed for now, as opposed to taking the chance. I feel like, and we'll spend the last few minutes here, Schroder is my argument, Stel, for why scared money may not make money, but it'll keep you from losing money. And I know you don't like that approach, because I know you're on the opposite side, but how you feel now? Because Schroder is...
First of all, I don't remember my full Deshaun, but I know he could have got paid more. Patrick Mahomes is my one. Good Lord, that deal's horrible. But I'm going to let him live. This has taken me more to this, and you hear it a lot in the stock market, but you also see it on your financial returns in terms of unrealized income and realized income. And if you ever check your net worth, and you do it all the time, like I do, you just see the jumps. And sometimes there are huge jumps, and it's because of the market. It's dictating what your net worth is. And there are times where you're like, I am up right now, but you don't take the money out because you're playing the long game. Then you check the next week, next month, it's gone. Like, it's just dropped 10%, 20%. Well, you're like, what? And that's how I feel. Because you're like, damn, I used to be richer then. Schroder will forever, this is cemented. This is not just fluctuation of a market. He's going to forever be thinking, dog, I had $80 million and I got 5 off it. 5 from 80? And you, like you said, because it's guaranteed. That's my problem with this one. Unrealized to realized. He could have realized $80 million, and now he's walking around with 5. In the real world, this is why I get so adamant and animated when we say Russell Westbrook has something to prove. Okay, when you're retired, all them rings and championships and Pro Bowls and all pros, they go on shelves, and people look at them. Sometimes you wear them out and people be impressed. That don't do jack in the world. You know what does jack in the world? Jack. 80 million jacks does more than 5 million jacks. And this dude ain't gonna never see that again.
But here's the thing, Phil.
Stop, dog.
Because you're not wrong at all, and I co-sign that.
Stop.
But once you've gotten to, I was sitting down with the agent for the person who created The Sopranos. I never watched The Sopranos, but The Sopranos, many would argue, one of the greatest shows on television.
Here too.
And he was telling me that that Dick Wolf, who created Law and Order SVU, was worth like $1 billion.
Yes,
like
yes.
$1 billion.
I gotta tell you my story now.
And he was also telling me that the person who created The Sopranos is worth like $100 million. So I'm sitting there with this man who has had a relationship with Dick Wolf and also has a relationship with the person who created The Sopranos. And I was like, who would you rather be? Would you rather be Dick Wolf or would you rather be the person who created Sopranos? Sopranos is one of the greatest shows of all time, but Dick Wolf got Law and Order SVU, Law and Order this, Law and Order that. And he said, I'd rather be the person that created The Sopranos, but I'm more interested in the quality of the work than the quantity. But then he said, I said, but what about the $100 million to the $1 billion? He said, there's not very much that a person with $100 million can't do, but the person with the $1 billion can do. So when you're talking about this much money, yes, all the rings and stuff will go on shelves, but wealthy is wealthy. So now, what do I have in addition to my wealth, the stuff money can't buy? Go ahead, Steph.
Okay. That's true, but it ain't fully telling the whole story. Like, all right, you got a plane at 100 million, you got a plane at $1 billion. I bet you those ain't the same planes.
Of course.
Okay.
Of course.
So it's a little different, okay? You got a house, you got a mansion, but I hear you. We having some high society conversation right here. Let's bring it on down a notch right here. First of all, give me some invites to these high-powered ass meetings you going to. Second of all, I was with this dude, and I think his dad's is Mike West. I think that's his name. I don't know. This dude said that's his dad. I said, what's his dad? What does he do? Because I could tell he had that money and he didn't do jack. And he was like, oh, we were chopping up. He was a cool cat. He said his dad created the soundtrack for Law and Order and all these TV shows. All right, this real story, I gotta say it fast. Basically, he said every time you hear dum dum, he said, Daddy getting a check. I said, how much? He said, I don't know, maybe 10 G's or something. I said, every time, 20 G, 30 G. They do it like 100 times an episode. So if that story is true, good Lord. We up here losing. Coming up, I feel like Dennis Schroder. Hard Knocks debut.
It's LeBron James in the postseason. And you just casually, Marcellus, just casually said he will turn it up when it... Thank you. Thank you for letting me see my guy. He'll just turn it up when he needs to turn it up. Well, what happened against the Phoenix Suns when Anthony Davis went down? Did LeBron James turn it up at any point in that series? He had one game where he had double-digit assists. He never scored over 30 points. He had damn near as many turnovers as assists in several games. There was never a point. He had one game where he had double-digit rebounds, not one single triple-double. If there was ever a time for LeBron James just to turn it up in the postseason because he had to, that was the time. And we didn't see it. And I don't think it's because he didn't want to. I think it's because he couldn't.
Well, I think it's because he's a genius, and he's understood his stay in L.A., that without Anthony Davis, good luck trying. These kids today say, let's work smarter, not harder. And LeBron realized that his basketball IQ, which is going to lap most people in this world, is going to tell him, I need Anthony Davis, because that's what the results have told him. I need Anthony Davis right now. Now it's going to tell him Russell Westbrook will help us out. I love y'all, but I just don't understand. Russell Westbrook going into his 14th season, we saw his assists drop to just 7 per game in Houston, off ball. But it became the most effective, efficient Russell Westbrook ever. Not only field goal percentage, but deeper numbers. Effective field goal percentage, highest in his career. And you tell me a guy who can drop down off ball, 4th worst in terms of assists per game in his career, and has 27 points per game, plays almost 36 minutes, and now we're looking at the guy just 2 years removed from that and not thinking he's going to be an addition, a supplement to a team like the Lakers that was 21-7 before injury, that was 2nd in the West, and that has LeBron and AD